So in this video, I want to share with you 3 strategies that my students and myself have used over the years to run webinars that generate more than 6 figures when you present. And whether you're starting out, whether you've never run a webinar before or never done any sort of virtual presenting, all the way up to maybe you're really doing well in it, I think these 3 strategies are going to be super helpful. Hi, my name's Colin Boyd, creator of Sell From Stage Academy, and I help experts, coaches, and course creators to sell effectively from virtual and live stages. I've had the opportunity to coach thousands of people around the world, and I've advised the biggest names in this industry, and we've done millions of dollars from stages. But at the heart of this, it's about helping you access your full potential, and that's the intention behind this video. Let's get into it. So one of my students, Ariel, recently posted in our Facebook group, in the Sell From Stage Academy Facebook group, that she had just ran a webinar. It was a 60-minute presentation, and she did $168,000. Now, she didn't start out there. She started out, a lot lower than that, kind of like running small webinars when she first started with Sell From Stage Academy. But what was cool was hearing about and watching her journey of refining her offer, understanding her audience, designing the presentation, getting feedback and so forth along that journey, right? And I don't know about you, but I know for most people in the expert business, running a business, to do more than 6 figures in 1 hour is kind of like worthwhile working on, right? And so that's what this video is about. I want to share with you 3 secrets that have helped me and my students to be able to do that multiple times throughout the year, however many times you want. So the first big idea you need to understand is you need to take off the pressure. One of the problems with when you first start out running webinars or doing any sort of presentations is that you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Now, sure, a little bit of pressure is good to kind of get you started. But when you first start out, I know for me, when I first started my webinars, I wouldn't even make an offer. Like, I took the pressure off myself big time. And so when you first start, my philosophy that I always tell my students is to just give it a go, don't get it right. And so if you take that philosophy of, you know what, I'm just going to give this a go. I'm going to go in, I'm going to serve, I'm going to contribute, I'm going to create an amazing presentation that's going to bless people, help people, serve people. That intention, people will experience it, they'll feel it. Now, if you do make an offer, then potentially you may even make money from it. But for me, when I first started running webinars, it was actually about growing in my confidence. It was about getting feedback. It was about getting better at that process. Just recently, one of our students, her name's Emma, she ran her first webinar and she decided to use what we call a beta offer. And that's like a small offer. It was a low priced offer. And she ended up getting 10 students into her beta course. So she filled her beta course. And then 2 webinars later, she ended up doing $11,301. She always tells me to remember the 1 on the end, right? $11,000. And that was her 3rd webinar. And that's her journey that she's going. How cool is that? And so when you think about it, you start small, you just take the pressure off, you just give it a go. Don't get it right, just give it a go, and you'll make progress along the way. The second big idea is you need to think about your presentation as a place where people make decisions, not just learn information. Have you ever had your brain picked? You know when someone says, you're having a conversation with them and they say, can I take you out for coffee and pick your brain? Now, I don't know about you, but I know for me, I don't necessarily like my brain getting picked. It doesn't sound like a great metaphor, but you get it, right? They go, hey, can I take you out and pick your brain? Now, you being a good person, you go, sure, I'd love to. So you go out to coffee with them. You end up buying the coffee for them as well, usually. And you sit down and they pick your brain for 2 hours and you give them everything, don't you? You give them all the how-to, absolutely everything that they need that you can give them to succeed. You say goodbye and then you go on your merry way. You see them maybe 2 months later and you say, hey, oh, so good to see you again. How'd you go with everything that I gave you? What's their answer usually? Oh, I just haven't got around to it. I haven't really done nothing. Middle of a donut, absolutely nothing. Why? Because they didn't need more information. You see, they thought that they needed more information. They didn't need more information. What they actually needed was they needed the right information to make a decision. Does that make sense? And this is what your audience is doing all the time. They're coming to your webinars, they're coming to your virtual events, your presentations, and they're gathering information, picking your brain. The problem is that what they actually need is they need the right information to be able to make a decision to move forward in the area that you can help them with. Now, if you and them are not a right fit, that's no problems at all. But what I'm saying is if you want to actually make money from webinars, stop seeing your webinars and your presentations as providing information. You need to create what I call decision-based content. This is part of our philosophy in Sell From Stage. We use what we call infusion selling. Infusion selling is the idea of teaching and selling at the same time. One of those strategies is what we call micro decisions. Micro decisions are where you make small decisions along the journey. You actually encourage people to get to like work that decision muscle. I know you're pretty impressed by that, right? To work that decision muscle so that they actually, by the end of the presentation, if you and them are a right fit and you resonate, then maybe the next step is actually working with you. So the second big step, second big idea and strategy is that you need to make your presentation, your content, decision-based content, not information-based content. The third big secret around creating profitable webinars is to actually follow a formula. Think about it like this. Imagine you got asked to bake a cake. In fact, my wife recently asked me to bake a cake. Now, my wife is celiac, so in other words, she can't have gluten. It's not just trendy, like non-gluten. She actually can't have it, right? She's got an allergy. And so she says, babe, can you make me a gluten-free cake? So, being the husband that I am, I do my best, right? Now imagine if I went up to my local Ralph's or my local Whole Foods and just grabbed a whole bunch of random ingredients. Like I grabbed some eggs, I grabbed some salt, I grabbed some like non-gluten flour or something, I don't even know what it is. And I grab it and I put it all together and I bake the cake. How well do you think it's going to go for me as a husband? Not very well, right? But what do? Right, it was the first time baking a cake. I go up to Ralph's and I find a recipe. I literally grab one of those like pre-made ones. I look at the recipe and I go, okay, I'm going to follow this, and I follow it step by step and I make a pretty good cake. First time round, right? Husband points, ding, ding. But here's the thing, is that many of you, when you're designing your presentations, what you're doing is you're just grabbing random content and banging it together and just hoping it goes well. The problem is that if you don't follow a formula that actually works, like a proven structure that actually works, it's going to just take you a lot longer to get the result that you want. You're better off following a recipe rather than grabbing random ingredients. The same goes, like I said, for your presentations. So let me give you like a 4-step simple structure that you can use in your webinars, presentations that really move the audience along the journey to get the result that you want. The 4-step formula is this. First of all, you have to touch people's hearts. What I mean by touching their hearts is you have to show them that you understand them, that you get them, that you can help them, and that what you're about to present is really important. That's the first piece. The second piece is you have to shift their minds. In other words, you have to help them to see the world from a different perspective. It's not about just providing information, remember. It's not about bombarding them with like content overload. It's about shifting their perspective on the topic so that you're removing the resistances, the challenges that they've had up to that point that are stopping them making a decision. Now, the third element is equipping their hands. If you are selling on a webinar or a presentation, I would recommend to do a little bit of equipping of hands. See, the problem is not that there's anything wrong with equipping hands, like giving them all the how-to. The problem is if you give them too much how-to in your presentations, it actually overwhelms them and stops their progress. I mean, just think about it from a logical sense. When you're watching a presentation and someone gets into too much detail, too much steps, and you aren't fully committed to that process yet, what do? You just like glaze over, right? That's because you've gone too much into the hands. You got too much into the how-to, right? But that third step is a little bit of equipping of hands. It creates some credibility, creates some trust. That's the third step. The fourth step is moving their feet. And moving their feet is depending on the type of close that you're going to do. You're going to do what we call a sharp sell. A sharp sell is where you make a direct offer to join your program. Or you could do a soft sell, which is to download a PDF or take that next step. It's usually for free. Or it could be a no sell, which is just asking for a response and claps and so forth. But if you design it right, all of them should lead to the audience resonating with you and wanting to work with you. So we've gone through 3 big secrets. The first one is take off the pressure. Just like give it a go, right? Give it a go, get some response, get some feedback, and just get some reps in. The second thing is think about your content and make it decision-based content as opposed to just information overload. And the third thing is follow a formula. We use our signature formula, which is called Sell from Stage formula, but you could use ours, you could use someone else's, but follow some sort of formula that's going to get you the result that you actually want. So what I'd love to know is what's been most valuable from these 3 ideas. Could you put a comment down below before you leave? Put a comment down below what's been most valuable from these 3 ideas. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notifications so you get any content that comes out soon. Now, if you've also resonated with me and you're really serious about learning how to do this on the next level, make sure to put your name down for our VIP waitlist for Sell from Stage Academy. That way you'll be notified when we open it up, because we only open it up a few times a year, and you'll know about all the bonuses, all the cool stuff. There's a link down below for sellfromstageacademy.com, and you can go and register there. We'll see you soon.